بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Okay, I'm gonna call this podcast here somewhat. I call it setting the scene. Why am I here? Why do I think my conversation is going to be beneficial? What am I trying to do? Am I trying to be some influencer? And then I just let everyone else get on with it and do their thing. But there are some things that you just need to get off your chest. You lose sleep over it. It's just in your mind, like, right, I need to speak about that. That's nonsense what happened there. And I think I do have a perspective that maybe other people don't have. Maybe interesting to some. We'll see. But there's some things that just don't leave you. Like they're on your mind, right? You got to talk about that. And that's where I'm at. Like, I'm losing sleep over this thing. I have to get it off my chest. Can I do it? Is it beneficial? I've just got to try. I've got to get my view out there. And have a conversation about what's happening from my perspective. Muslim, ethnic minority, born and bred here, parents from Jamaica. What's my perspective on what's going on in the world and what's going on in the UK? I think it's important. I think there is a interesting conversation to have, and I think non-Muslims will also see where I'm coming from. I'm a reasonable person. And I'm hoping that this conversation will balance up the propaganda that's being pushed heavily online and in the newspapers, on the news. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think my perspective will push back on some of that propaganda and give non-Muslims an idea as to what Muslims are feeling. As I want to jump into something. So, obviously, since the Gaza issue kicked off, the dominant media view is that Israel is the victim. Everything started from October the 7th. We don't talk about anything before that because it's confusing. Let's just start from 7th of October. And the media view has been, Hamas woke up and said, okay, let's just attack Israel for no reason. Anyway, we will touch on that further down the road. So what's happened is the main media view, obviously we've got Piers Morgan and the likes pushing Israel being the victim. So now from that we've had non-Muslims who have just said things like killing Palestinian children is not right. From time they've said that, for some reason the propaganda machine has now excluded them from their comfortable positions that they were in and said, no, you're now a Hamas supporter just because you've said killing Palestinian children is wrong. So what am I getting at? I'm tired of the propaganda machine. There needs to be pushback on it. There needs to be justice. There needs to be truth. Truth needs to be told. I think the propaganda machine is very loud. It's too loud. And everyone needs to get involved in pushing back on it. And I'm just trying to contribute to that. So we have people like Candace Owens. I didn't know anything about Candace Owens until she said we shouldn't kill Palestinian children. Then she becomes famous. Who's the other one? Ian Carroll. Same thing, doing research on Israel after Gaza. He becomes famous because he's saying we shouldn't kill Palestinian children. Dave Smith had his debate with Douglas Murray, becomes famous because he's pushing back on the propaganda. Right? The next group, what do you call it now? Kneecap. I don't know about these people. Only time I know about these people is because whenever they say free Palestine, stop massacring the people, the propaganda machine attacks them. They're on the news, they're in the newspaper, social media, they're being condemned, just because they say stop killing Palestinian children. What you're doing is unjust. So I'm looking at, well, okay, why is it BBC, Channel 4, ITV, the newspapers, all of the social medias, day after day after day, like they're all in sync attacking these people? It's like, what's the common denominator between all of these forms of media that decide that these people should be condemned because they are standing up for justice? None of these people are Palestinians. They haven't got any, they don't gain anything by support. They're just saying, hey, this is unjust. So my point is this: there is a serious injustice going on right now, and as human beings, we must stand up for what is right and push back on what is happening. And I think the conversation amongst non-Muslims on this topic is very good. It's commendable. It's very good, right? And that conversation is heavily being condemned by the mainstream media. I think we as Muslims must support that conversation, react to that conversation, because the points that they're coming with, you can't deal with them. You can't say anything about them. How can you defend killing all those children, except they say, oh, well, under every single hospital and every single house, there's a Hamas fighter there. So we had to wipe out the whole building, the hospitals, the refugee camps, etc., etc. And we all know that that's a bogus, that's just a lie, it's just an excuse to definitely cleanse the land. So that's one topic, the injustice of what's happening in Palestine, and the fact that when anyone speaks about the truth, this mechanism, this media mechanism comes and condemns them and calls them anti-Semitic, etc., etc. Right? That's a topic that needs to be discussed. Then linked to that topic, I'm just trying to set the scene, is the issue of Islam, refugees. We want our country back. The Trump, what do you call it? Make America Great Again issue. Now, when I look at this issue about stopping refugees, we want our country back, it's linked because the main focus, once again, is on Muslims. Politicians saying this is a Judeo-Christian country, the Islamization of Europe. There's a propaganda focusing on Islam and Muslims and trying to highlight, the grooming gang issue as well. There's a linked propaganda machine, the same one that is focusing on Gaza, to me looks like the same propaganda machine that is pushing the issue of refugees. This is a Judeo-Christian country. We don't want the Islamization of the West. So that being the case, that also has to be dealt with. And the issue of, I want my country back. I want my country back as well. I don't want a third country pushing their agenda in the UK. I want my news and my politician to be free to say the truth. At the moment, I don't think it is. Yeah, so I believe it's the same mechanism that is pushing back on, blaming refugees, blaming Muslims for, on the thing of, I want my country back. Our country has changed. It's because of these foreigners. It's because of the boats. I don't want refugees to be going to hotels. It's very expensive, and it is very expensive. Refugees shouldn't be going into hotels. It's too expensive. I agree. But also there's a nuance with that. If we don't want refugees coming to this country, how about we stop invading countries? How about we leave Africa and the Middle East alone? We stop invading them. We stop creating coups in their country. Let them have their resources. Leave them for 50 years and see how they are. Let's see if the refugees are still coming here if we stop bombing them and creating problems in their country. That's my solution, right? And we will get into that. I'm just setting the scene. So we have the Gaza propaganda. We have the propaganda against ethnic minorities, refugees, Muslim Islamization of Europe. I think it's the same kind of propaganda machine that's being pushed. What is the reality, though? Why is the West invading the Middle East? Is it because of ISIS, Al Qaeda, the remnants of Osama bin Laden? Is that the real reason why? And don't get me wrong, let me say something, you'll also find those people, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Ian Carroll, Dave Smith, speaking about 9/11, speaking about speaking about COVID. Okay, what's the reality of the West? What's the reality that the West plays in the world? I think since the Gaza issue, everyone's looking at, well, what happened here then? What's the truth in this situation? Why did that happen? And I think now we have to, everything's been uncovered. Muslims need to also play a role and discuss what's happening in the world. Why is it happening? Who controls the media? Who controls the politicians? Who controls the finance? Why is this happening? And why is it always ethnic minorities, specifically Muslims as well, that take the blame for everything? As if to say the West is perfect, and when ethnic minorities come, the world gets mashed up. Is that the reality? Is there no money for the NHS because of Muslims? No housing again because of Muslims? We have to pay now £9,000 a year for your kid to go study because of Muslims and ethnic minorities. That's how it's being sold to the world. We've got no money, but we can spend billions year after year after year on war. We find that money, but we ain't got no money for NHS. We ain't got no money for housing. We ain't got no money. We can't even build our own tunnel. What's it called? The tunnel in East London here. This tunnel, we had to get some Spanish company to build it. Why can't we build our own tunnel? And that's an important topic. What's happening in the UK? Our prime ministers, the respect for parliament. I'm just setting the scene where I'm coming from. It's about time ethnic minorities have their say about what's going on in the UK and to push back on the negative propaganda. I'm just setting the scene. It's going to be interesting, enlightening. I think this will be a conversation where everyone will feel comfortable to reply and respond. No hate on this platform. It's a conversation. It's going to be a good conversation, nice conversation. We're going to agree and disagree, but we will come away understanding where everyone is and where we stand. And we're going to try and get to the truth and justice in this affair, in these affairs. I may be wrong sometime, I may be right. But I'm not going to lie. That's one thing I'm not going to do. I don't need to lie to anybody. And I'm going to try to find the truth in all matters, whether it's for me or against me. I don't care. It's not an issue. This, for me, this is an educational quest. I want to find the truth in the matter. Is there no money for the NHS because we have to spend money on housing refugees in hotels? Is an alternative way we could do it? Or are ethnic minorities and refugees being scapegoated for the political class who are just stealing taxpayers' money and sending it off to offshore companies? I need to be, that's just my feeling. Where's all the money gone? You understand? COVID, you know. Okay, let me just mention this thing. Utility companies. Why don't we own our water, our gas, our oil, our railways? Why are they all privatized? The political class make a decision that privatization is better. Better for who? It's not better for us, the ordinary Joe or Muslim or Ahmed or whoever, Mick, John, Fred. It's not better for us. Who's it better for? So we need to look at all these issues. I'm just setting the scene where I'm coming from, the minefield that I want to cross, and hopefully you guys can come with me. Subscribe to the channel, write down some questions or some topics that we should discuss. Go to my website, muslimworld.co.uk, buy some products and support me on my journey. And I'll see you in the next podcast. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.